All right, what's up, fellas? It's a glorious time of year. There's so much to be excited about. I'm finally doing the damn thing that I should have done like 3 or 4 years ago at Barstool. We're freaking growing the game. College baseball starts on Friday, opening day, and we're about to bring some serious hell to Barstool Sports, the college baseball. The people have been calling for it. We're going to give the people what they want. I'm Barstool Mintzy, joined by Peyton Chatagnier. Hell yeah, going to be along for the ride.
Hell yeah.
Former national championship second baseman for Ole Miss. Also had a damn good season, played for TCU last year. So excited to have a former player on board that's got really good connections in both the SEC, Big 12, players and coaches. And we're here to blow this up because college baseball is the most underrated sport. Everybody knows it. It's super exciting. We got DraftKings behind us. We're going to be making gambling picks. We're going to be interviewing coaches, players. We're going to be all over it all season long. What's up, Peyton? How are you?
Good, man. I've been hackling you about this for the last damn 8-9 months. I've been trying to say we got to push this college baseball because this is growing. This is a great sport. Not everybody knows about it, but if you know about it, then you love it. So, man, I'm excited for all this. We got a lot of people that we can potentially interview, a lot of coaches, a lot of different rules, the NIL, transfer portal, all that stuff. We're going to get into it all. So it's going to be a great time.
Hell yeah. Well, the thing is, the sport's just growing like crazy. And there's
Exactly.
so many different angles with it. You got passionate fan bases all over the country. Like I said, we got the DraftKings elements. We can do the gambling picks thing.
Yep.
Just there's so many ways we could take it. And we're starting it today with the preview of the Southeastern Conference, the biggest, baddest league.
I mean,
they win the national championship in Omaha. Like, I guess they've won it every year since 2018 when Oregon State beat Arkansas. We're going to hit them with the SEC preview to start. We're going to run through a little bit about each team. We're going to make some picks for player of the year, our picks to win the conference. And then we're going to come back with ACC and Big 12 previews in the following days. And then we've got opening day, Friday, and there's some fun stuff. One thing about college baseball, it used to be a thing people would get into it once conference got going. But, man, these tournaments now are freaking awesome. And, this weekend – just the Arlington ones got Ole Miss, Arizona, Texas, Clemson, Oklahoma State, and Louisville. And so we'll be keeping a close eye on that. But let's just start at the top. Let's hit the SEC. We're going to run through. We got a little bit, we got 16 teams to run through. So some will be a little quicker than others. We're going to make our picks to win the league. We're going to do our player of the year. We've also got odds up on the DraftKings Sportsbook to win the SEC. Right now, I'm seeing Tennessee favored at 4-1, Texas A&M 9-2, LSU 9-2, Arkansas 13-2. Should we start at the top of the league or start at the bottom and work up? What you think?
I mean, I think we start at the top because once we start getting down to some of these teams, there's not going to be too much to talk about, just depending on which team it is. Now, I'm going to go ahead and throw this out there right now. If Ole Miss is ranked 15, this SEC better have been the best SEC conference that has ever played this game of baseball. We know that. Sorry, I know I'm getting ahead of myself, but there's no shot that Mike Bianco and the boys are going to suck for 3 years. 2 is the max. 2 is the max. But I say we start with the top. And which I already think was what's interesting about this is they've got A&M ranked at the number 1, but then if you look at the betting odds, you got Tennessee. So I don't know. There's some weird stuff already going on there.
Well, we'll start with Tennessee, defending national champion. You look at the last 4 years of college baseball, I think they've been the best program year after year. They've made Omaha 3 times. The one year they didn't make it was one of the best teams in college baseball history, but they just lost 2 out of 3 at home to Notre Dame. They finally got that national championship last year, defeating Texas A&M. Magical run for Vitello and the boys. But I went through and did a lot of deep diving on these rosters. Man, they lost everything. I'm talking like – when I went through their roster, like Dean Curley, their shortstop is really good. He's back. Hunter Inslee in center field is back. And like A.J. Russell, the pitcher's back. And that's freaking it. They got Liam Doyle, the lefty who transferred from Ole Miss. He's going to be their Friday night guy. He was up and down last year. I don't know if, he's talented, but I don't know if he's like a frontline Friday night guy. They got Andrew Fisher, who hit about 20 homers from Ole Miss. I mean, I still think very talented Tennessee team, and they've earned the benefit of the doubt with how good they've been the last few years. Having said that, I think there's going to be some growing pains this year, and I'm not quite ready to say they're going to win the SEC.
I mean, the only thing I will say to that is you cannot discount Vitello and the boys. Like, they have found a way to make every single team since he's been there good. And they play with this FU mentality. They don't care. Like, when you're playing against them, I'll just go ahead and say, like, you hate playing Tennessee because of just the amount of confidence and, like I said, the FUs, the whatever. Like Vitello's got that, and he seems like the coach that you would want to play for, that you want in your corner. I kind of mark them as the hangover team. Like, are they going to have a hangover from last year, winning it all, or are they going to be able to bounce back? You don't see too many times a team consistently go to Omaha as many times as they have, but win it and then be as good as they were the previous year. I don't know. We'll see. That's going to be tough. But like you said, you got Doyle being the Friday guy, Ole Miss transfer. You got Fisher. They got some good guys. To say they're going to do what they did last year, it's going to be tough. But I think they're going to be good. They definitely are making the postseason. I think they make a regional and make a push to Omaha for sure.
Yeah, my thing was 2 years ago, they kind of were rebuilding off that team that didn't make it to Omaha that won like 50-something games.
Literally the best team in college baseball ever.
Ever. They started 5-10 in the SEC that next year, and then they figured it out and ended up making it to Omaha. I feel like I could see a similar path this year where they've got a ton of talent on the roster, but there's just so many new parts. They're going to be figuring it out.
Yeah, and what they've done such a good job of is, like, I don't want to say these players came out of nowhere, but like they had a third baseman from 2 years ago. He was I don't want to say a nobody, but like he didn't play very well his first 3 years, and all of a sudden he became the best third baseman in the country. It's just whatever it is about Tennessee, they find a way to get a guy to all of a sudden appear to be the best player in the league. I don't know what it is they do, but they do it well. I mean, you cannot.
They've got great home field advantage. That's a little bandbox ballpark.
Yeah, the ball flies there.
Fly balls fly out of there. They got one of the most hostile fan bases. I actually got to give Tennessee fans credit. I go at it with them on Twitter all the time. They've been great for college baseball. Like having that like heel team that everybody hates is so good for the sport. It's so much better when teams like that are good than like Stanford or Vandy or teams that don't really have fan bases.
Yeah.
I think Tennessee might make it back to Omaha. I just think it's like a growing pains thing. They end up winning like 17 or 18 games in the SEC and may even host a regional, maybe not a top 8, but I think they take like a little bit of a step back.
That's fair. I mean, it's hard to say that they're going to win a national championship again.
All right, moving on. We got Texas A&M up next. So much to talk about this team.
Yeah.
Fell national championship last year. Coach Schloss, man, what a wild move going to the arch rival.
Boy, people hate him, huh?
Oh, gosh, going to the arch rival Texas. Took his pitching coach with him. A lot of stuff went on behind the scenes with that A&M coaching search. They end up promoting Michael Early, the hitting coach, who's like 36, young guy, but very popular with the team and the players. Got everybody to basically come back and not transfer out. And this team is loaded. I mean, they can freaking mash. They're the best hitting lineup in the country. Jace Lavalette, probably going to be the 1-1 pick in the Major League Baseball draft next year. Gavin
Grahovac.
Yeah, the third baseman, stud last year. They got 7 or 8 guys that can mash. So not worried about the hitting. Ryan Prager, predicted to possibly be the top Friday night guy in the SEC.
Well, he turned down $1.3 million out of the draft. So
I wonder how much he's making at A&M though.
Yeah, that is probably true. We need to find that out. I bet you I don't know about 1.3. He's making a ton of money there. Yeah, they got a lot of money at A&M. They got a ton of money.
They lost Evan Aschenbach, the lefty closer, who was unbelievable. I mean, you'd put him in the 7th or 8th innings games. That's a hard guy to replace. But like talent-wise, it's all there for A&M, and they're the favorite for number 1. My question is just the Lucian Schloss thing. I thought he kind of had a unique managerial style, especially the way he managed his pitching staff. He was able to cover up their lack of starting pitching depth the last few years. And I wonder, I'm not saying Early might not be a good coach and the players all love him, but I still don't know how seamless that's going to be.
I think that's fair. I mean, that's tough to say, but you will they also got guys that were on that World Series team that still stayed because they liked him. So, I mean, obviously these guys like who he is as a coach. My thing is not necessarily if he's a good coach, but if that message sticks or whatever he's trying to get, the vibes of that team, is it going to be as good as it was? Schloss, I mean, as controversial and as many people hate him, the dude wins baseball. He is good at coaching baseball. He's good at winning games. They lose Montgomery this year, which is going to be a big hit for them. So we'll see. I still think they're incredibly talented. They're probably the most talented team on paper. We'll just see what this new coaching staff, we'll see what's going to happen. And I'll just say this too, man, people rave about the the 12th man. That like you're not comparing A&M to an Arkansas. You're not comparing A&M to an Ole Miss as far as fan base goes. So that team's got to be good to start, or that fan base won't be behind them. It's just how it is.
What do you think about the bubbles they blow? Weird.
Listen, I'm cool with the bubbles as long as they're not cowbells. You know, I'm okay with the bubbles. I've seen that plenty of times. We got walked off by what was his name? It was a lefty hitter, whoever it was. Anyways,
he murdered us the whole
series. Yeah. I've seen plenty of bubbles. I've seen, all sorts of. Me and Dylan Rock getting into it. I guess that was at our place, but in my opinion, that good fan base, they're great whenever they play at Kyle Field. But whenever you come over to the baseball, it's not the same crazy packed energy unless they're doing really well. That's just what I've gotten from that.
I feel like they got to expand. Their ballpark's like 7,000. Like
I know. It's kind of small. You would think a big
15. I mean, like
exactly.
I know that's crazy to me. But I still think and probably an Omaha team. I mean, I'm not trying to say I'm coming out and hating. I just don't know that, you're looking at such a deep SEC where you can make an argument that 15 of the 16 teams are good. You're going to see a lot of log jams and a lot of like 16 to 20 win teams in the conference. And I mean, I think A&M, is going to win 18 or 19 games and host a regional. I just don't know if they're like going to be number one in the country.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, if I were to look at overall rankings, I personally think they're still better than Tennessee.
I do too. I got them.
But other than that, I mean, that's what's so hard about the SEC is literally, as cliche as it is, everybody can be everybody in this league besides maybe Missouri. We'll see.
Yeah, no, that's the thing about picking it too. When you look at the odds to win the league, it's like, damn, there's like 15 teams you can make some kind of a case for. The depth is crazy. All right, moving on from A&M, we'll talk about let's go LSU first.
Yeah.
All right, a lot of stuff to get into with LSU. Jay Johnson crushing the transfer portal, national champion 2 years ago. Last year really had a bad year and just got hot that last series against Ole Miss when they swept them, and they kept that momentum going through their regional, and then they almost made Omaha. They lost in Game 3 to North Carolina. Tommy Tanks is gone, but this roster, to me, maybe not as much superstar power as like an A&M, but the depth on it is crazy. Got ton of arms. Cade Anderson, they think, could be one of the top Friday night guys. You look around Bear Jones at first base. I mean, he could have a 30 home run season. I think he could lead the SEC. They got a transfer in Dustin Dickinson from Utah Valley State who just like mashes. That's going to play second base. If there's questions, the left side of the infield with Stephen Milam and Michael Braswell moving to third, I feel like that might be a little bit of a question. Milam moving to short. He's a smaller guy. Does he have the big enough arm to play short in the SEC? A lot of outfield depth, and then the arms are the thing. They've just got so many of them. Look out for Clark Schmidt, who they think is a first-round talent. They were lucky to get on campus as a freshman. And, man, they've got another kid that throws 100 that Jay Johnson said that him being out was like the equivalent to Nussmeier being out in football last year. And so, I feel like maybe I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt, but I love Jay Johnson as a coach. And they spend a lot of money in the portal. And I think the thing I like about them so much, they've got like 5 or 6 outfielders that can play. If they have injuries, they'll be all right. And the depth of pitching staff and arms is really, really good. So I'm bullish on them. I think they may win the league.
I mean, Milam ended up being an unbelievable player for them, especially in that postseason run. Braswell started out a little shaky and then came back around. My biggest concern is like Jay Johnson has came out and said, we don't have a starting rotation yet. We're just going to kind of see which guys fit where. Even if it's our best pitcher, he might not be our Friday guy. He might come in later in the game so we can extend him for longer, maybe a Friday, Saturday type of thing. And to me, that scares me because it's like, well, if you had a Skeens and you had a Hunter Elliott or a DeLucia, like they are going to be a Friday guy every single time. So I'm a little bit worried that we don't have a solidified Friday, Saturday, Sunday rotation. That would be the only concern. But like you said, Jay Johnson's an unbelievable coach. He does so well in the portal. They've got a ton of talent on this team. So they could, without a doubt.
They do have a really good closer in Gavin Guidry.
Yeah, no doubt.
You've got that figured out. I know what he's saying about like not having the rotation figured out, but I mean, he's got 6 or 7 arms that are all really talented. And I am big on, like I said, I mentioned Cade Anderson, but like I think he could be a big Friday night.
Yeah. I mean, LSU is LSU. Like the brand itself will help win a couple games.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to see them struggle like you did in the regular season
Yeah.
last year. And I thought it was funny last year. He just like plays Walford in the NCAA tournament and just takes their two best players like
Yeah.
immediately after.
That's what he does, man. He's good. He's always working in the portal. I remember I talked to him when I left Ole Miss. I talked to him. They were still playing. He was like, "Hey man, why don't you whatever, think about coming here, yada yada." And they got games going on. I'm like, "Coach, you gotta worry about winning this." And they ended up winning it all. So
yeah, no, and like I said, I think this is like a bounce back year for them. And like last year is probably remembered better because they almost made Omaha, but like literally they were 10-17 in the SEC.
Mhm.
And when they swept Ole Miss to get to 13-17,
Yep.
they ended up, they made that big run in Hoover and had momentum, and they ended up sneaking to a 2 seed and getting hot, but they kind of just closed late. Like they kind of struggled. But I look at this team. I don't know. Watch out for Derek Curiel, the freshman. He's super hyped in the outfield. People are saying he could be the freshman of the year in the SEC. Josh Pearson, DH, West Monroe guy from my neck of the woods, could also be good. And the pitchers you name, two pitchers to watch out for. Chase Shores is who I was talking about. Apparently, he had 100 like 6 times in practice today. And then watch out for Anthony Ianson, the transfer from UC San Diego. They're really hyped about him too. And and they've got a bunch of other guys in Connor Ware. And I don't know. I just think the depth on this team is going to be staggering.
No, I definitely think they're going to be good. And I mean, they've always been able to hit, and Jay Johnson is so good. But I don't know what exactly he's teaching them over there. But they all get into this scrappy, almost a 2-strike approach looking swing, and they put the bat on the ball. They're really good. My own Jared Jones, I think, is going to be a stud. I think he has a chance to be the SEC Player of the Year. He's a big old swinging donkey that'll hit a ton of home runs. So he'll be fun to watch too.
All right. So, all right, moving on. We got the Arkansas Razorbacks. Man, Van Horn, when you look at Arkansas, I mean, Tennessee's been the gold standard the last 4 years. But the thing about Arkansas, man, they never have down years.
They win the regular season every single year. Like they are always good in the regular season. But that's the biggest problem, or at least people are concerned, is they're always good in the regular season. Same thing with them Ole Miss Rebs until 2022. Like they actually close it out? Can they get the job done? That's been always their problem.
Well, when you look at this Arkansas team this year, and this kind of happened last year, and it's been a little bit of a problem the last couple of years. Super elite pitching staff, one of the best in the country. They're going to have that again this year. Gabe Gakel, their Friday night guy, had like a 2.30 ERA last year as a freshman. They think he's going to be like a really top guy. They got Zach Root, transfer left-hander from East Carolina, who's a stud as their number 2. And the Gage Woods are really solid number 3. And so they're one of the only teams you don't see that where teams go in with like 3 solid guys to start the season. Pitching staff's got a ton of depth. My question about Arkansas, man, the bats really disappeared last year. They didn't hit for a lot of power. And then when I look at this, Kendall Diggs is back. The senior, he was hurt a lot last year, so he kind of dropped. But I think he's good. But a lot of unproven guys, and they really weren't scoring that many runs last year. They were winning a lot of like 5-2 type games. And I kind of, when you get to that top level, I question how many runs they could score this year.
Yeah, luckily their pitching staff. I think they have the best pitching staff in the country this year. They did lose Hagen Smith, which is a big piece, but it seems like they're going to be able to just slide guys right back in that spot. The biggest thing for them is probably going to be their position players. They struggled a little bit last year, but this year I think they're better overall. They got transferred Logan Maxwell, which is my dog from TCU, so hopefully he gets in there and shines. So I think they're going to be good. In my opinion, I'm more bullish on them than I are a lot of teams.
Well, the pitching staff always travels.
Yeah.
And also that, like you mentioned, that home field, that hog pen, man, they don't mess around at Arkansas. I still hadn't been to a game up there. That's on my list.
Oh, you got to go. I hate giving them a shout out, but that place is electric, man.
Their freaking fan base, man. Them in Tennessee on Twitter, and you'll see this year, you're going to be doing a lot more social media stuff. Those Arkansas fans they're a wild bunch on the Twitter.
Oh yeah. Oh, I would get into it with some of them. I'd have to sit there and refrain myself from some old head who's calling me an idiot and saying all this dumb stuff about me right before we play. I love it, man. Their fan base is great. And let me tell you,
I'm like you though. I'm big on them, just the pitching staff.
Yeah,
you have to give Van Horn the benefit of the doubt.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think all the teams we've talked about so far all could be in Omaha.
Yeah.
And I think Arkansas, you're looking at another 18 or 19 win SEC year.
That's the crazy part about the SEC, man. Like, yeah, you got Arkansas, they're fourth in the SEC. They could win the whole damn thing. There's not that many leagues or conferences where you're 4, 5, 6 in your conference and you have a chance to win it all.
Yeah, I think. Okay, now we're gonna go to the 5. I think that those 4 teams, Tennessee, A&M, LSU, and Arkansas, are the top tier.
Yeah,
and I think there's a drop when you go to 5. But these other teams could all be really, really good. But I think there is a pretty big drop from 4 to 5, because you could argue. I mean, with the next few teams you talk about, you could bunch up 5 through 12 or 13.
Yeah.
You could make a case for any of them. We'll start with the Georgia Bulldogs. Wes Johnson, second year coaching there, former Minnesota Twins pitching coach, was LSU's pitching coach for Paul Skeens when they won the title. Spectacular year one at Georgia. I mean, this isn't a place that's like, I know they made the championship game in 2008 when they lost to Fresno, but not a traditional baseball power. They got to replace Troy Condon, who led the nation in home runs. That's going to be, and they lost their other best outfielder. Big losses, but this team can still mash. Trey Phelps was going freaking nuts during the NCAA tournament. He's back. They got some other guys. I like the Colby Branch at shortstop. He could be good. Slade Alford, the senior third baseman, can hit. Christian Adams hit like 343 last year. I mean, this team could still hit. You're losing Condon. They got some power arms that are back. Colton Smith's pretty good pitcher. Got some Leighton Finley too. JT Quinn, former Ole Miss Rebel, looks like he could be their number 3 guy. He's always had talent, just hadn't put it all together. So, I mean, on paper, looks good, but I still have some questions. Can they sustain last year?
Yeah, I mean, well, you can't replace Condon. That's impossible. Like, I don't know if there will ever be another Charlie Condon. He was absolutely unbelievable. Phelps is supposed to be really good. Smith is supposed to be – both Phelps and Smith are supposed to be their Golden Spikes Award finalists right now. So, they've got some absolute talent on their team. Can they figure out the rotation? I think JT Quinn is a phenomenal player. He's got unbelievable stuff. Can he put it all together this year and really have a breakout year? That would help Georgia out a ton. Now, I will say this. Allegedly, there's some happenings right now in this baseball team that are shaking it all up. Some coach happened to just get arrested. I'm not going to be the one to report everything out there, but enough. I'm just going to say allegedly things are shaky right now for the Georgia Bulldogs. So we'll see how they can come back from this.
Okay, well, maybe watch out for that early in the year.
Yeah.
To see if that causes some friction. I think they'll be, good, but I'm not like I'm going down in the projected finish order, but I don't know that Georgia's going to be 5th.
I don't think so at all. If I'm being honest, I think Georgia is down there maybe 8, 9, 10 spot.
The thing is, though, if you're 8, 9, 10 in the SEC, you're still
exactly.
So you never know what can happen. All right, Florida Gators up next. Talk about a guy you can't replace, Jack Chatagnier.
Exactly. Yeah.
Really, the Shohei Ohtani of college baseball, maybe one of the greatest players of all time. They had a weird year last year too. It was kind of similar to LSU, where other than Caglione, they were really young, and they got the last spot in the NCAA tournament, kind of similar to what Ole Miss did in 22, and then they got hot. They won the Oklahoma State Regional. They beat Clemson. That game 2 in that Clemson that went 11 or 12 innings.
Yeah.
One of the most classic college baseball games of all time.
It was awesome.
I mean, yeah, unbelievable. They made it to Omaha, and they showed pretty well in Omaha. They won some games, and they've got a lot back from last year, but you're losing the key guy. And then, they're also losing, out of the bullpen too. They're losing, I forgot Neely.
Neely, yeah.
Yeah, he would come in the 6th inning and just end games. And so you're losing him and Cags. So you're losing a lot, but they do have like 5 guys that hit double-digit home runs. They're back, so I think they should be able to hit the ball, including Shelton, the shortstop, and second baseman's name. Golly, Curland. He's good. So they got a good middle of the infield. Luke Heyman has some power at catcher. I mean, they got some dudes. The Florida Gators, they're always good. I got some questions about the pitching, though. Their Friday night guy is going to be Liam Peterson, who's got great stuff.
Yep.
Up and down as a freshman. He's got to step into that Friday night role. He had a 6.43 ERA last year. So the pitching staff, to me, has some questions. I think they're going to score a lot of runs, but they're going to have to figure this pitching staff out is what worries me.
I would agree, but same thing as like we were talking with you put them in the same category as LSU or Tennessee, where it doesn't matter how good they are. You saw that like they barely made it in last year, but nobody is going to sit there and count Florida out because they're Florida. Like, they've always been good. They're going to find a way to win games. I think this team is talented. They are going to miss Cags. They are going to miss Neely. Two guys that you can't really replace. They got some key guys. Clemente had a hell of a year in the Cape. This past Phil Pod, he was up to 98. So I mean, they got guys. They've always got guys. Florida's the team that they'll have 4 dudes that throw 100 miles an hour, but it just goes all over the place. So if these guys can figure it all out, this team could be great.
Could be a similar situation, maybe, where they're figuring it out a lot during the year, and then they're dangerous in the postseason.
Yeah, Sullivan knows how to win games. He does. He's good.
Oh, no doubt. No, what a career he's had. All right, Vanderbilt Commodores up next. They're just ridiculously great program under Tim Corbin, and has won 2 national championships. Since they lost to Mississippi State in the 2021 national championship series, look, they're still really good. Maybe hadn't been quite as good the last couple of years, but they get the benefit of the doubt. Usually when you think of Vandy, you just think of the pitching staff.
Yeah.
And they always got freaking 1 million guys that can throw 100 and top pro prospects. But they lost their top 2 starters, Bryce Cunningham, one of them, that they got to replace. They still got some, potential studs pitching. Look out for Ethan McIlvain, the sophomore lefty. They had really high hopes for him as a freshman, but he got hurt. They think he could really be a dude. But the thing about them that has me concerned is they don't really have a lot of power offensively.
Yep.
You're looking at a league where like 5-6 schools hit 100 home runs. They only hit 72 last year. RJ Austin, center fielder, really good, hit 330 last year. But I'm wondering, they got to get some other bats to step up. I know they'll have pitching, and I know they'll be well coached, but my question is, can they score enough runs? They went 13 and 17 in the SEC.
I feel like Vandy has always been like pitcher you. They've always been pitcher first. For the most part, they'll always have a shortstop that shines or whatnot. You'd mentioned RJ Austin, unbelievable, phenomenal player. We expect him to do really well. Mike Mancini, who's another player, who's a transfer this year, who I think is going to do well. I don't think it's the same pitching staff they had last year. This is going to have to be, in my opinion, an offensive-led team. And what you said, this team doesn't hit a ton of homers. Like in the SEC, you throw a ton of fastballs at 100 miles an hour and you hit a ton of homers. That's usually how it goes. So you have to be able to hit the long ball to survive in this game. We'll see if they can. In my opinion, 7's a little high, but hey.
Yeah, they're one of those teams. They'll be in the tournament. I think they're a 2 or 3 seed, and you don't want to count them out by any stretch. But I don't know. I don't think they're not what they used to be, like the best program in the country.
Yeah,
they always reminded me of like Duke basketball a little bit.
Yep. But this is the same thing. There's so many legends in the head coaching space in the SEC. Like Tim Corbin's a guy who you can never count out either. He's going to be the same way, and he went all in this year in the NIL. He at first was like completely against it. And now he said, you know what, screw it. We've got to do this. So this year will be interesting for them.
Yeah, the Vandy thing, I will say, one of the schools, these private schools, this NIL world, these private schools might not have big fan bases, but they got big dollars. And, you look at what Vandy did in football this year with Diego Pavia and building, and now they've turned their basketball around in baseball. Vandy's really benefiting from the South Valley. What did you think about playing in Nashville with that green monster?
I'll be honest. I think the stadium itself is cool. It felt like they maybe had 3,000 fans there. Like it just wasn't. It's not the same atmosphere. It's like going to a Mizzou or a Kentucky. They just don't hold a lot, and they don't. I hate the Vandy Whistler.
I'm
sorry, and I don't even know him.
I have had it out with him historically, but then he hit me with the peace offering at the SEC tourney last year. I should have smacked his hand.
I don't hate him as a guy, but
so much when I was on camera, I would have been way better off just being like, no.
I don't know how their fans do it. Like, how do they keep they don't want to hear that? There's no way they want to hear that.
Ugh. Yeah, no, the Vandy Whistler, man, that 2022 when I went and got in his face during that Ole Miss Vandy game.
Yeah, I was playing that game.
That's one of my all-time greatest Barstool moments. that one will always never be forgotten. But all right, Mississippi State Bulldogs.
Do we even mention them? Do we? What's the point?
Well, what's
the point
interesting is the parallels between them and Ole Miss when they won the title, and then they had 2 bad years, and they had a big bounce back year last year, which is what we're hoping Ole Miss does this year. So interesting stuff at State. Chris Lemonis, a hell of a coach. Succeeded in Indiana, won a national title at Mississippi State. They lost their top 2 pitchers who were studs last year. They had the long name guy that threw left and right. That
through both, yeah.
Yeah, he was a first-round pick.
He was awesome.
Yeah, they lost their top two guys. Dakota Jordan gone too, 20 home run outfielders. But Hunter Hines coming back's big though.
I think he's the backbone of this team right now.
Yeah, he's a senior. He 20 home run power hitter. Some other guys to watch: Ace Reese, the transfer from Houston, is going to play third base. They're excited about him. Also, Noah Sullivan, the transfer from South Carolina upstate, wherever the hell that is, but he hit 324 with a bunch of power last year. State's usually got like a lot of scrappy players. Nolan Stevens, the right field, is kind of one of those. But it felt like they kind of restored the program last year. They lost in the Super Regional in Virginia, but they had a really good year after 2 bad years. Pitching staff-wise, they've got some talented guys, but losing your top 2 starters is tough. So I think they'll be like pretty good again, but I don't know about elite.
Yeah, I hope they lose every single game, actually. I do think Hunter Hines is really good. And I know they've got Pico Khan, who's supposed to be their Friday guy this year. What do you want me to say about this team, man?
I hear you. I can't stand them either. And the cowbell thing's the worst.
That is the worst tradition in college baseball. Nobody likes the cowbell. Nobody.
No, I mean, if you're too lazy to make noise yourself,
then
you shouldn't be able to make that much noise.
It's agree.
Like a cheat code. But I will say, that ballpark, serious ballpark. I mean, it's like a AAA level. They do it big out in the outfield, cooking. I do got to give them credit for that.
I will give them credit there.
For that ballpark.
Yeah, I can give them credit on that ballpark.
I think they're an NCAA really tourney team, but I don't think they're like a top SEC team.
Yeah, no, me either.
All right, moving on. This one's going to be a fun one to break down. Schloss's first year at Texas. A lot of stuff to get to here. I actually like this team.
Yeah. I mean, I like them better than some of the teams.
Yeah, I do too. I like them better than a lot of the teams we just talked about. So it's his first year. He brought his pitching coach with him from A&M. This team reminds me of that first A&M team that made the Final Four that was very transfer laden, had a deep lineup, would really work pitchers. The starting pitching, they've got one kid they're really excited about. Look out for Jared Spencer, the lefty. They think the stuff I've gotten some intel. They think the word I heard is that Texas hitters can't touch him, and he might be one of the best Friday night guys this year. So look out for him. Behind him, all question marks in the rotation. Rotation looks real shaky. They do have some power bullpen arms, but they can hit. They got depth in this lineup. Guys to watch out for: Ethan Mendoza, the second baseman. Max Bellew, the right fielder, has a bunch of power. Easton Winfield in left field. They got a lot of guys that hit. Their first baseman, Schlussler, hit 343 last year. I think this team's going to score a bunch of runs. Like, usually when you think Texas baseball, they're like fundamentals and run and good pitching and defense. This team's not really constructed like that, but I feel like Schloss gets the benefit of the doubt. And
Absolutely.
I think even with only one good starting pitcher, the way he would use his bullpen and do all the weird crap. I mean, he's the only coach I've ever seen that'll yank a guy on a 1-0 count. And I just feel like he can manufacture some wins here. And I think they've got, a winning culture and a winning program that I've got them, like, not saying top of the SEC, but I've got them, top 5 in the SEC. And I think there's a chance they could host a regional.
I mean, the good thing is
I'm pretty bullish on Texas.
The good thing is Slosh has been in the SEC, so this isn't like something new to him, I think their pitching coach Wiener, I think he is an unbelievable pitching coach. He looks like he's a ton of fun just to be around when he's in that dugout. They would flash him during the College World Series, so he looked like a lot of fun. Flores, the shortstop, I think is going to be really good this year. There's a lot of hype. There's a lot of hatred. I cannot wait for that UT A&M series. That's going to be electric.
Yeah, it's at Texas this year.
Yeah.
I wanted to see it. I don't know, but I just think when I'm analyzing both A&M and Texas, I'm giving Texas the benefit of the doubt because of Slosh and the pitching coach. And I'm downgrading A&M a little bit. That's how much
I would agree.
Career, he's just been so good. I think he's earned that. And I think Texas, like I said, I've got them hosting a regional. I actually have them like 5th, 6th behind those top 4.
We'll see how they can do it in the SEC. I mean, I think they're a very talented team, but it's a whole different ball game when you're in the SEC. Every single weekend you're playing 97 to 100 mile an hour. It's It's completely different. So we'll see. I think they're going to be good. I mean, you got to mention Grayson Sonya here. There's a chance for him to maybe squeeze into that weekend rotation. We'll
That'd be
see.
awesome.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what he can do. That'd be cool.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of my intel is the stuff the people I've been calling are telling me about the Spencer kid on Friday night that he's
yeah. No, I think he's going to be really good.
Player of the year.
Yeah.
And so if they have him as a Friday night ace with that lineup, then they can figure out the rest. But a lot of what I'm saying about him is hinging on the scouting report I've gotten on him.
No, I think that's fair.
All right, moving on. Those are all the ranked teams in the SEC. Every one of those teams is in the top 20 because it's such a deep league. All right, running through the rest. We'll start with the Auburn Tigers. Fell off a cliff last year.
Yeah.
Horrible. But Butch Thompson's done a damn good job. Ole Miss beat them in Omaha the first game in 2022.
Right.
When I look at this Auburn team this year, it looks like they could hit the ball. Ike Irish, the catcher, can really hit.
Yep.
I think they've got a pretty good deep lineup. I don't know if they can pitch.
I think there's a lot of question marks on this team, especially the weekend rotation. I would like to give Butch Thompson the benefit of the doubt. And what I'll say about Auburn is, like, people sleep on Auburn's track record. Like, they're an Omaha caliber team. A lot of these past years, like, they're a good team. I just feel like people look at Auburn and they think maybe Auburn football or basketball. Like, I truly think Auburn baseball is a good program. They did fall off a cliff last year. We'll see. There's a lot of question marks, but I kind of hope this is a team that they can turn it around this year.
They usually can score runs. Look out for Bristol Carter, who at 344 East Carolina, the center fielder. I think that's a big time impact transfer. I like the McMurray kid. I really think they're going to score runs. I just the pitching staff has me a little concerned. I think the really important guy is
Fisher.
Fisher, who transferred from Florida, the lefty.
Yeah.
They're wanting him to be their Friday night guy. They need that. I think, like I said, if he's not great, then that pitching staff's in big trouble.
I would agree. Right. But a lot of question marks on that team.
I still think they're going to improve, though. Like, last year was just such a one-off. I mean, they've been in the super regionals in Omaha, and then last year, I mean, they were horrible. I don't think you're going to see that. I think they're going to kind of be in the, like, fighting for an NCAA tournament berth at, like, 12 wins type.
Yeah, that's fair. If they make – I mean – the SEC is so damn deep.
No, that's the problem. I mean, we're going through all these teams, and other than Missouri, all 15 of the other teams you can make cases for to make like super regional runs. So I feel like you're going to see a lot of teams with like between 12 and 16, 17 wins. It's just going to be bunched up because everybody's going to beat each other. All right, Alabama, similar to Auburn, but they've had an underrated program too.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, like they haven't made it to Omaha, but, they lost in that super regional 2 years ago to that Wake Forest team that made the title game in game 3. Justin LeBron's the guy to watch here.
Yeah.
Shortstop. He's the number 1 prospect for the MLB draft in 2026 out of the SEC. He's an All-American. They got some dudes. It's kind of similar to Auburn. They got some dudes that can hit, but I got questions about their pitching staff.
I think you're exactly right. Same thing with them. I do think Coach Vaughn and the boys, I love them. I'm very bullish on just the Alabama coaches. This is his second year into the league. I've got a good buddy who's on that coaching staff. He obviously loves the program. Yeah, shout out G Wood. He obviously loves them. I mean, if he didn't, that'd be a little bit concerning. But I think this is a good program, and I think that Coach Vaughn's going to hopefully turn this thing around for him, man.
Yeah, and they're always at least pretty good. They've got the big thing with them. They got 3 transfers in Jason Torres, Brennan Norton, and Garrett Staton, which is going to be big. I think the lineup will score runs. The pitching staff, Zane Adams has some experience, big potential from Riley Click, but I'm still that's the thing.
Well, they just lost some guys from the coaching change and stuff, and I don't think they've fully gotten. Like, I don't think Coach Vaughn's gotten his full team, yet. Nobody that he's really recruited, especially out of high school, has probably made it there yet.
Yeah, and Zane Adams looks like he's the Friday night guy, but he had an ERA over 5 last year as a freshman.
Yeah.
Maybe he could step into it, but, man, it's just the thing with the SEC. When you don't have that elite Friday night guy, it's tough, man.
That's what I'm saying about LSU, man. A lot of
Friday night games against aces, and then it puts so much pressure on your Saturday and Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's kind of my worry. I'm really looking out for the Riley Quick guy, who they hope is the number 2. He throws money. And so, but look out for Justin LeBron. He's a superstar. And
Yeah.
like I said, I think Alabama's probably a tournament team. I'm not hating on them. It's just it's hard to win in this league if your pitching staff is.
I agree. I think this is a team that maybe is as similar as last year. They made a regional. I don't, and they maybe went 1-2. Maybe they didn't win a
Yeah, I'm
game in the
trying to
regional. I
remember.
can't remember.
I know they made a regional last year.
Yeah.
2 years ago, they made a super.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if they made a regional, but I don't know if I necessarily see them winning the whole thing yet. But you give them a couple years, they're going to be good.
Well, hopefully Vaughn doesn't make the same mistake as the last head coach and try to have a friend bet $100K.
Hey, I'd bet it all right now. Bet it all on them.
Dude, that was a wild. That's one of the craziest stories I've ever heard. His friend is like
nuts,
in a Cincinnati place trying, like you think you throw down $100K on a college baseball game, it's not going to raise.
Completely moves the line, just makes it.
I mean, like who bets $100K on college baseball? It's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, Oklahoma, first year in the SEC.
Yeah.
Skip Johnson got him. Y'all Ole Miss. Y'all beat him in the national championship in 2022. This is a team that went 23-7 in the Big 12 last year. And when they've got these Witherspoon brothers at the top of the rotation that are really stout 1-2. And so the pitching staff looks really good. Cam Johnson from LSU, the transfer, they think is going to be their number 3. He's got a lot of talent, the lefty. So I feel good about the rotation. Don't see a lot of power here at all in the lineup. So I think they're going to be I'm a little worried about the scoring runs thing.
Well, that's their biggest issue for them is the power. I think Cam Johnson can be really good. The guy from LSU, he's got really good stuff. Can he put it all together? We'll see. You got some new guys, Kyle Branch. You got Taki. All these guys are going to be good. The biggest thing is they lack a lot of power. And in the SEC, you have to hit a ton of home runs. It's that you win or lose by the long ball in this game. They're going to maybe have to try to adopt the Big 12 West Coast style of baseball where you just are real scrappy, bunting, moving guys over. I just don't think that's going to play well in the SEC. Willits was their only guy last year who had double-digit home runs. That's coming back. So unless their pitching staff is just absolutely phenomenal, I think this is going to be a tough one for them. I don't know if they survive this.
This is that SEC grind thing.
Exactly.
This has got to deal with it too. But man, I mean, these Witherspoon brothers are stout though.
Yeah. I mean, obviously they've got talented players on this roster. I don't know if they fully got it like some of these other teams. Yeah,
but okay. Well, that's Kyson and Malachi Witherspoon are their names, but they're going to be their 1-2. Nice. Watch out for those guys. I think Oklahoma my read on them maybe a 3 seed. Like I know they were dominant last year in regional. They blew that regional to UConn at home last year though.
I mean, they've had a couple good runs this past couple of years.
Oh man, that team that made the title. That team.
Yeah.
That team was hot until they ran into the Revs.
Until they ran into the Ole Miss Revs.
That friggin' back homers.
That was electric. That's got to be the coolest thing in World Series history, right there.
Yeah, it was the only time. It was actually I have a funny thing on Twitter where I hate Sweet Caroline.
Yeah,
and it was the only time I've ever heard that song, and I like because it's like everywhere you go, it's Swayze. It's like it's just can't get away from that damn thing. But I didn't mind hearing it that night. All right, next up. So we hit Oklahoma. Got a few more. We got to talk about the Kentucky Wildcats because the year they had last year, I mean, they were a number 2 seed in the NCAA tournament. Good. And Nick Mangione, what a story. They lost almost everybody. But they rely on the transfer portal more than anyone. So it's really hard to read them this year. They got Devin Burks back at catcher, is kind of like the backbone of their team. But they don't have a whole lot more left. But they did load up in the portal. And so you see this in college baseball where you load up on these mid-major transfers. A lot of times it can work immediately because you've got guys that have a lot of experience, and like A&M did it the last few years. But when you look at this Kentucky team, there's just so many new guys. And when you look at their starting pitching, they've got 3 guys from Longwood, Radford, South Dakota State that were successful. How are they going to do in the SEC? Hell if I know. Exactly. And it's more like potential. They've got some transfers. An Illinois State transfer, Luke Lawrence. Columbia transferred Cole Hage. That can hit, that have done well. But it's just freaking hard to know, man.
I think probably the big name guy would be Tyler Bell. He turned down first round money this year just to go to Kentucky. So I think that says something. I'm probably way more bearish than I am bullish on this team this year. Um, it's Kentucky. It's there. It's cold as hell to play there. They're gonna have 1,200 fans
I thought
showing up. Like it's
they
just
picked up
not
that newer ballpark though.
the ball
I know
is
that they
very
picked
nice.
up late.
The ballpark is very nice. I'm like it's just I'm putting that in the same category as a Vandy or
Really? I felt like Big Blue Nation, like they didn't really know they were good last year till late, but man, they showed up.
sure, once they're really good, then they'll show up. Yeah, but that's the type of fan base that you hate is like all of a sudden you got to prove it. I don't know. I think they're just going to be okay this year.
Yeah, well, it's very hard to analyze preseason when the whole
Yeah,
team.
we could look so stupid in a couple months from right now.
No doubt they could get. I mean, Angione's got the benefit of the doubt. I mean, they were number 2 last year.
Yeah,
but I still got to see one more to believe it. That's just they lost so much.
agreed.
I mean, I think they might still make the tournament, but that's kind of where I got them. All right, let's talk about the Ole Miss Rebels. Yeah. I got to say it. I know the last 2 years have been rough, and I might be biased. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid on this bunch.
You got to. You've got to.
I really like a lot of stuff about Ole Miss this year, and I love the pitching coach hiring Mangum from the Indians. I think they got an elite pitching coach, and I think the pitching staff can be like maybe not Arkansas level, but like top 3 in the SEC.
People are forgetting about Hunter Elliott. Like that name isn't in a lot of other teams' mouths right now. They're about to get so surprised by Hunter. They're forgetting he was a freshman All-American. He pitched in Omaha. Like this kid's back. This could be the backbone of the whole team. If he's good this year, I'm telling you, watch out for these Revs.
Look, I agree. I think, and then all the indications on Elliott, who basically had 2 full off seasons.
Yep.
But he's fully healthy now. His fastball is like in the low 90s again. Had a really good fall ball. I think he's ready and he's healthy. I mean, I'm going off what I'm hearing. And he's an elite Friday night guy. And then when you look at the depth, I like Riley Maddox a lot. Your number 2 guy throws mid-90s, a lot of talent. Mason Nichols is number 3, has a ton of experience. All 3 guys have got a lot of experience. And then you got a lot of other younger arms to go with them. And with Mangum coaching, I think this pitching staff could really, really be something this year. And I kind of like what you said, too. There's a sense of urgency this year, a big-time one for Coach Bianco. And, I look at the year Mississippi State had last year off 2 down years, and I kind of feel like Ole Miss might have a similar one this year.
Well, yeah, and you got this Ole Miss fan base is just like they're already begging and pleading to, fire Bianco, do this, do that. Like, he wants to win so bad right now. There's some guys, Luke Hill, you got to mention. Owen Pano, another really good.
Pano's stud freshman. Pano's going to play short, and Luke Hill's going to play.
That's what I think is going to end up happening. I don't know what they're doing at second base yet, but maybe another big mention is Connor Spencer on the mound. I think he's going to be really good for them. He was good for them last year. I think watch out for a boy named Mason Morris. I think he's going to be a phenomenal pitcher. He's a funky delivery. They'll use him as like maybe a mid-game reliever or something. But he's going to be an upcoming star. I just know it.
Yeah, and then when I look, the question on Ole Miss has got to be, the bats have got to pick up a little bit, but there's potential there. I like Will Furnace. I think he could have a good year. Campbell Smithwick, good catcher. He can hit a little bit. I think Luke Hill could have a good year. The Louisville transfer, I got to remember his name, is they're real hyped up. They're hyped up on him, Isaac Humphrey.
Yeah.
And then they got a transfer from UNO and Mitchell Sanford, who they like. And then Ron Mormon from Illinois has a lot of power. We'll see if he can not strike out a lot, because that was a little bit of a problem. There's potential for the offense to be pretty good if things break right. Judd Uttermark needs to have a big year, though. He had a
stud. He's somebody. I mean, he's like legit. He's like 6'3", 250 pounds. I don't know how big, how much bigger you want him to get. He's somebody that if he just gets a hold of a ball, it'll go. We'll need to cut down on the strikeouts a little bit this year, but he is somebody that could easily have a breakthrough year this year. And really, Ole Miss, as far as the bats go, for the most part, have consistently been pretty solid. You see it in the years, and when you win, it's whenever we were able to put that pitching with it. So we'll see. I think this is a very interesting team. I'm way more bullish than 15 in the SEC. That's crazy to me.
Oh, no doubt. Ole Miss is 28-1 to win the league. And I don't know if they could quite win it, But I think, if things break right with this pitching staff, which the key is Hunter Elliott's health.
Yeah.
If he's the front line guy with the other arms, I don't know, man. Like I said, I know I'm probably drinking the Kool-Aid, but I think this team could be damn good.
I mean, just look at where Ole Miss was before Mike Bianco was there. Like, this guy knows baseball. Exactly. Like, he's not going to let this happen 3 years in a row. I just know it.
Yeah, and
very bullish.
Lord knows I would never say anything negative.
Yeah, I don't want to hear it out of you.
Yeah, no kidding. No, Bianco, just to think that the title year, just man. Yeah, he got, and like I said, the last 2 years, I know they've been bad. No Pete for me. Like, after winning the national championship and building the program, I was totally fine with them bringing him back. I know there's some heat on him this year, but like,
there always is, man. There always is.
Years.
But that's because this program demands excellence, and we're going to be excellent this year.
Yeah, that's kind of what got him in trouble, is he was so good for so long.
I know.
Everybody just expected it, which is weird because Ole Miss didn't even have a program before it.
Yeah. Now he's there for life.
About the Rebs. I mean, do you think, like I said, what's the ceiling? I mean, I don't want to like say they're going to win. I mean, could they get back to?
Listen, every single year, this could be the team. Like, you play in the SEC. You're a top team. I don't care. I don't care if they're ranked 15 in the SEC. They'd be ranked. If they were 15 in the SEC, they'd be 2 or 3 in the ACC. Like, this is a conference you don't understand, or people don't understand. Like, anybody can win this whole thing. It's nuts how much talent there is. And I'll also say this: 75 to 80% of preseason rankings go off of because of what you did last year. So they didn't have a great year last year, so they've ranked him down lower. I'm telling you right now, Ole Miss will be at that top.
Just pitching staff.
Yeah, I think it's be serious. I think they can. I really do.
And then Ole Miss starting, like I said, what a fun weekend in the Arlington tournament. Arizona Friday night is top 25. Elliott's return, playing Texas, and what should be like a sold-out stadium Saturday night, and then also taking on a Clemson team that was top 10 last year and almost made it to Omaha.
We'll see how long they extend Elliott in the beginning of the season. Like, they still might not let him go 5, 6, 7 innings if he gets that deep. I don't know. I don't know exactly the situation, but he's going to be electric. I know it.
And I'm gonna definitely be betting on the Rebs.
Yeah,
return,
no doubt,
on Friday night. All right, next up, South Carolina Gamecocks. Great traditional program. Has won multiple national championships. Underrated environment at Founders Park. Their fan base is great.
Yeah,
like, interesting hire going with Paul Maneri. Who obviously had a lot of success at LSU for a lot of years, won a national championship, but they kind of moved on from him a couple of years ago. Certainly an older guy, but, has the track record. When I look at this team, Ethan Petrie, one of the best hitters in the country, feel like he's been awesome the last couple of years. Behind that, I got a lot of questions about this team.
Yep. I mean, you got LaCroix, I think, could be maybe another guy, but same thing with a lot. If you have a question mark, it's normally from the pitching side. I don't know exactly what they're going to bring. Maybe Maneri can come around and revamp this program. Ballpark is sick, but it's going to have to be a very offensive-led team. I just don't know if there's much here.
Yeah, look out. You mentioned Talmadge, LaCroix, catching. He can hit. There's a good Ohio State transfer in Henrik Kaczmer. He hit 320 last year in the Big Ten. Hopefully that translates well. But like I said, man, this league, the pitching staff stuff, I mean, I don't see a lot to like on this pitching staff. And that greatly concerns me. I think there's a chance they may not make the tournament. I mean, somebody's losing this league.
But like I said, in 2-3 months from now, we could look like complete idiots. Like, nobody's really sure, but I don't see too much there.
All right. The one thing I am sure of, somebody's got to finish last in this league. And the one school in this league who's not really committed to baseball is the Missouri Tigers. They were 9-21 in the SEC last year. And I went through and studied this team. I like their shortstop, and that's all.
Yep. There's Seals. He's coming from the American to the SEC this year, who could be very interesting. You got Pierre, who's going to probably end up batting cleanup for them. But like you said, it's Mizzou. I'm not exactly sure. I mean, they've kind of turned around. Ball flies there. If they can find a way to scratch a couple wins, get some momentum going, it could happen. But
I wish they'd embrace it more with but I guess the Cardinals are just run that state, and it's just like college baseball is not as much of a
I
thing.
don't know. I don't know
They
what it
love
is.
the Cardinals. I mean, I feel like college baseball could be a thing there. Garrett Goldbeck, the transfer from Kansas City College, is a name to watch. He only he had a 94-57 walk strikeout ratio.
Yeah.
Crazy, and with over 500 on base percentage, he's gonna be their leadoff hitter. But yeah, I don't have a lot to say here. Possibly somebody's got to lose.
Somebody has to finish last. It might not be Mizzou. It could be Mississippi State. Who knows? Like they're kind of neck and neck right now. The big thing I would say for them is if they can just find a way to score a bunch of runs. I mean, the ball flies there, so get it up in the air.
Yeah, playing the atmosphere is nothing special there. I'd never been to a game there.
The atmosphere, no, but it's a lot of fun to hit there. I'll tell you that.
All right, we're gonna finish this up. A couple top new to the SEC when rolling along, but I love it, dude. I'm loving this, Peyton. By the way, you're doing a great job. I'm excited. I'm really excited.
Thank you. This is gonna be a lot of fun. We need more. We need more interaction in college baseball. So this will be.
We're gonna give it.
This will be good. Yeah.
All right, top. Who you got for SEC Player of the Year?
I mean, I feel like I'd be an idiot if I didn't choose Laviolette, but I'm going my dog. I'm going Hunter Elliott, man. He's gonna revive Ole Miss for us.
All right, I don't have a problem with that. I believe he's gonna revive Ole Miss as well. I am gonna go Jace Laviolette, even though it's a boring pick. The thing is with him, A&M has so much depth in their lineup that people can't really pitch around him.
Yeah, and there's a lot of swing and miss in that team, but the good thing is if they're not swinging and missing, they're hitting homers. Like they're gonna hit so many home runs, they're gonna score so many runs. They're gonna be unbelievable.
Yeah, but I'll say this: I was between him and Bear Jones.
Yeah,
because I think Bear Jones, his power is crazy. You know what? Screw it. I'm going Bear Jones.
There you go. You go. Don't go the easy answer.
Yeah, I think Bear Jones is good.
I think he could be unbelievable too, and he had a good year last year.
Oh yeah.
So that could be another one, and maybe that really gets LSU going. So that'd be cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Bear Jones. I picked to win the league.
All right, non-biased pick. I don't know if it's necessarily a sleeper, but I'm very high on Arkansas staff. Okay. I think that could be the turning point is if they just go Friday, Saturday, Sunday, lights out. Watch out for Arkansas this year.
All right, I debated it a lot. I'm going with the LSU Tigers.
All right.
I just believe in the depth on the team. I think the pitching staff is so deep. They got a lot of outfield talent. I think Jay Johnson's a great coach, and I think Bear Jones is going to have a huge year. I think the big thing with them is, like you said, they got to figure out their rotation. But I think they're in a spot where it's not like they don't have the guys. They've just got too many guys, and they got to figure out the role.
Yeah, we'll see what they do with that rotation. We'll see if they figure it out.
All right, sleeper team in the SEC. I'm going with Ole Miss.
You got to.
I really, really believe. I just think when you –
I do.
The thing is, people are analyzing the last 2 years because that's what it's been.
Yeah.
But you look at this roster with the pitching staff and the talent. I mean, if some of those hitters could step up, they're going to be really, really good.
Yeah. People don't understand baseball sometimes. You can be the best damn team. That 2022 Tennessee team, they were the most talented team that year. Didn't make it. Like – baseball's so weird where you could literally be so talented and lose. Sometimes it just happens. So I don't think it's necessarily anybody's fault, but this year, watch out for them Ole Miss Rebs, baby.
Okay. Any other, I guess if we had to do a most disappointing team, I feel like you're already saying it was State.
Yeah, I mean, and this isn't even me trying to be biased about it. Like they're ranked. They got them at 10 right now. 9.
Yeah, I think
10?
it's a little. Or yeah, that's a little more.
Come on. Like that, I don't even know who they got. Hunter. What else do we got? This team could end up. I'm telling you, them in Mizzou. We'll see.
Yeah, watch out the Georgia one. Like nobody thinks Kentucky's going to match last year, so I don't want to say because their expectations aren't that high. The Georgia thing, you said there's some off-field concerns right now.
Yeah,
you're replacing Charlie Condon and their other best outfielder. I know the pitching staff's got some power arms, but it really wasn't that good last year. So I think there's a chance they could take a step back, but I think Trey Phelps is going to freaking match.
Yeah, I agree. That's fair.
So we'll go with that. All right. Well, this is the SEC preview. Please like and subscribe to Wake Up Mintzy YouTube. Peyton and I are going to be doing tons more content all year long. This is going to be out on the Thursday morning. The ACC and Big 12 ones will be out after. And then hopefully we'll get on kind of do a preview on Friday of opening day in college baseball because it's here, dude. I'm freaking
Hell yeah.
pumped.
Hell
Let's
yeah.
turn this shit
Hell
up.
yeah. Let's
Throw
go.
the game. I mean, this is college baseball needs more media. I'm an idiot that I didn't do this 3 years ago, and we're getting vengeance on everything this year. And also, don't forget to download and check out our partners at DraftKings. They've got college baseball lines, over-unders. They even throw down run lines for games. They do a spectacular job with all your college baseball props. They have odds to win the conferences, national championship. They got everything you need in college baseball on DraftKings. And so we're proud DK partners, and I'm going to be firing games and making picks on there all season long. And if you're like a casual fan and like kind of follow college baseball, kind of don't, man, I'm telling you, give it a shot, put some DraftKings money on it, and you'll see, because the product is just the most exciting sport. And it'll hook you in a hurry. So very excited to build this. Thanks to Tyler Moody, our producer, Peyton Chatagnier. Said it right.
That was good. That was great.
Hell yeah. We'll be back with the ACC and Big 12 previews tomorrow. We got Hunter Elliott on next week for an interview. We're going to hit a lot of players, coaches. We're just going to I'll be honest, we're going to throw a lot of crap at the wall here. We're going to interact a lot with the Barstool College accounts. And we're going to be a little trial and error here. And we'll gauge the fan reaction and stuff. The biggest thing, please subscribe to Wake Up Mintzy YouTube and like it, and follow that Stool Baseball.
Hell yeah.